Imagine someone making you feel like the most special person in the world. They call you soulmate within days of meeting you. Every morning starts with sweet texts. Every night ends with promises of forever. You feel seen, valued, and deeply loved. But slowly, things start to change. The "I love you" text gets shorter. The compliments turn into subtle criticism. The constant attention becomes unpredictable silence. You start wondering, what did I do wrong? You try harder, love more, give more, and somehow you end up feeling more desperate than ever. This isn't an accident. It's a pattern. First, they overwhelm you with love. This is love bombing. Then they create emotional highs and lows. This is trauma bonding. Together, these can trap even the smartest minds in toxic relationships. It's not about romance. It's about control. And the worst part? You might even start craving the very person who's hurting you. But why does our brain fall for it? Today, you'll see the hidden psychology behind toxic love and how to break free. At first, love bombing feels magical. You think you finally met the one. They remember every little detail you share. They flood you with messages, gifts, and promises. You feel an instant, intense connection, almost like fate brought you together. Your friends warn you, this feels too fast. But you ignore them because it feels so right. In those early days, your brain is drowning in dopamine and oxytocin, the same chemicals released when you eat your favorite food or hug someone you love. It's addictive, and you don't even realize it. But here's the dangerous twist. Love bombing isn't about love. It's about hooking you in. Once they're sure you're emotionally invested, the mask begins to slip. The sweet texts slow down. The warm compliments are replaced with confusing jabs. One moment they're affectionate. The next, they're cold and distant. You start chasing that high you felt in the beginning. You think, if I just love them more, they'll go back to how they were. But that's exactly what they want. They create a push and pull cycle where you're constantly working to win back their approval. Your self-worth starts depending on their moods. You can't focus on work, on friends, or even yourself. Every smile from them feels like a reward. Every cold look feels like punishment. This is how trauma bonding begins. A psychological trap where pain and affection get tangled together. It's the same cycle that keeps victims tied to abusers for years. Even when they know it's toxic, they can't walk away. The brain mistakes a relief from emotional pain as love, and the bond grows stronger, not weaker. This isn't just a bad relationship. It's emotional conditioning. It's like a gambler pulling the slot machine lever, hoping for the jackpot, but getting only scraps of affection. And every time you get a scrap, your brain lights up again. It's exhausting, it's confusing, and it's by design. Because the more broken down you feel, the easier you are to control. But the real question is, why does our brain keep falling for this trap, even when we see the red flags? To answer that, we need to go deeper into the psychology of toxic love, love bombing. It sounds almost romantic, doesn't it? Like being showered with affection, gifts, and attention until you feel like the most important person in someone's world. But behind this glossy surface lies a calculated psychological weapon. In psychology, love bombing is not a grand romantic gesture. It's the first stage of manipulation in toxic relationships. It's a tactic used to create emotional dependency, making you feel so deeply connected that leaving becomes unthinkable. At first, the intensity feels intoxicating. Every text is answered instantly. Every meeting feels magical. They call you their soulmate, their forever person, sometimes within days or weeks of meeting. You believe you found the one, but this intensity is strategic. The purpose isn't to love you, it's to hook you. By flooding your brain with constant dopamine hits, through compliments, attention, and physical affection, they rewire how you see them. They want you addicted to the way they make you feel. And then comes the second layer, trauma bonding. This isn't just emotional closeness, it's psychological captivity. Trauma bonding happens when cycles of intense affection are followed by sudden withdrawal, criticism, or conflict, and then another wave of affection. Your nervous system begins to live in a constant state of confusion. You start chasing the high of the good moments, while ignoring or excusing the bad ones. The pain and pleasure mix, blurring your ability to see the situation for what it is. This isn't love. It's a behavioral trap. The manipulator knows that by alternating between kindness and cruelty, they deepen your emotional dependence. Your brain begins to associate them with both comfort and pain, locking you into the cycle. In the field of behavioral psychology, this is called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same principle used in gambling. The unpredictable reward makes you hold on tighter, hoping the good times will return. And this is where toxic love thrives, in the hope that the person who once treated you like a treasure will come back. But here's the hard truth. The person you're waiting for doesn't exist. That version was an illusion, crafted to gain control over your emotions. Love bombing is the bait. Trauma bonding is the hook. Together, they create one of the most powerful psychological chains in toxic relationships. In this breakdown, we're going to dig deep into how these tactics work, why they affect the brain so powerfully, and, most importantly, how to recognize them before you're trapped. Because understanding the psychology is the first step to breaking free. Love bombing. On the surface, it feels like the perfect romance. You meet someone and suddenly you're showered with endless affection. They text you good morning and good night without fail. They send flowers to your workplace. They tell you that you're the one after just a week. It's intense, intoxicating, and almost too good to be true, because often it is. This overwhelming attention isn't always love. It's a calculated move designed to hook you emotionally. It's the bait before the trap. When the highs are this high, the lows hit even harder, and that's where trauma bonding comes in. It's the reason people stay in toxic relationships long after the love has turned into pain. The push and pull, the sudden withdrawal, the unpredictable affection. It keeps you addicted like a drug. At first, you think they're just passionate. Then you start thinking, maybe it's my fault they've changed. You start craving the version of them from beginning, the one who loved you fiercely. And that craving is exactly what keeps you tied to them. In this section, we're going to peel back the layers of this psychological trap. We'll see how love bombing and trauma bonding are two sides of the same manipulative coin. And by the end, you'll understand why toxic love feels impossible to escape and how to finally break free. How to spot love bombing and trauma bonding before it destroys you. Let's break down the signs that can save you before it's too late. At the start, they overwhelm you with affection. They text constantly, sometimes every few minutes. They want to spend every possible moment with you. They shower you with gifts, even when there's no special occasion. They tell you they've never felt this way before within days of meeting you. It feels flattering, but it's often the first sign of love bombing. Then comes the future talk. They start planning a life together way too soon, talking about marriage, children, or moving in together within weeks. It's not romance. It's rushing you so you don't stop to think. Another red flag? They mirror everything you like. Your favorite music, your dreams, your values. They suddenly match them perfectly. It feels like a soulmate connection, but it's a manufactured one. Then the tone shifts. The constant praise becomes occasional criticism. They begin to withdraw attention without warning. They stop texting as much. They delay replies just to make you anxious. This is where trauma bonding begins to weave its web. You start chasing that original high. You try harder, thinking maybe you're not giving enough. They'll suddenly shower you with love again, and just as suddenly, take it away. That cycle of reward and punishment keeps you emotionally hooked. They may isolate you from friends and family, subtly suggesting that others don't understand you like I do, or that your friends are jealous of what we have. This creates dependency, emotionally, socially, even financially. Gaslighting often slips in here too. When you point out their sudden changes, they make you doubt yourself. Phrases like, you're overthinking, or you're imagining things become common. Physical affection can also be part of the hook. They know when to use it to calm you down after a fight. This reinforces the bond, making your brain associate love with relief after pain. If you notice a pattern of extreme highs and crushing lows, if you feel you're working harder to keep their love than they are, if you feel more anxious than happy in the relationship, you might already be in a trauma bond. The scariest sign? Even when they hurt you, you still feel an intense pull toward them. That's not love. It's manipulation dressed as passion. And knowing these signs early can mean the difference between breaking free and losing yourself entirely. The truth is, no matter how smart or self-aware you are, anyone can fall prey to love bombing and trauma bonding if they don't know how to protect themselves. The first step is to recognize that real love doesn't need to overwhelm you overnight. It grows steadily, not explosively. If someone is moving too fast, showering you with gifts, and making promises within days of meeting you, hit the brakes. Set emotional boundaries early. You're allowed to slow things down, ask questions, and say no without feeling guilty. Love bombers thrive when you abandon your boundaries in exchange for their intense affection. Don't give them that power. Learn to validate yourself internally. One reason people get trapped in trauma bonds is because they rely on the abuser for emotional highs and validation. If you can meet those needs yourself through self-care, hobbies, friendships, and personal growth, the manipulator's control weakens. Create a support network. Talk to trusted friends or family members about the relationship, even if you feel embarrassed. Love bombers often isolate their targets to control the narrative. An outside perspective can help you see patterns you might be ignoring. Pay attention to your emotional state after interactions. Do you feel drained, anxious, or guilty? Healthy love should leave you feeling safe and calm, not fearful or confused. These negative emotional shifts are red flags. Educate yourself on manipulation tactics like gaslighting, guilt tripping, and intermittent reinforcement. The more you understand the playbook, the harder it is for someone to use it on you. Knowledge truly is your armor. Have an exit plan ready if things feel toxic. This doesn't mean you're paranoid. It means you value your safety. Know where you can go, who you can call, and how you can cut contact if needed. Remember, trauma bonds are addictive, and breaking them often feels like withdrawal. That's normal. Limit emotional dependency. You can deeply care about someone without making them the sole source of your happiness. Spread your emotional investments across friends, passions, and goals so you're not emotionally bankrupt when a relationship turns toxic. Most importantly, trust your gut. If something feels too good to be true, it probably is. Love bombers rely on your desire for fairy tale romance to override your instincts. Choose reality over fantasy. Protecting yourself from love bombing and trauma bonding is not about building walls around your heart. It's about building gates where you decide who enters and how. Real love will respect those gates. Toxic love will try to break them down. Your job is to keep them standing strong. Love bombing and trauma bonding aren't just random toxic behavior. They are deliberate emotional traps designed to keep you confused and dependent. If you've recognized even a single sign from what we discussed, please understand it's not your fault. These patterns are crafted to make you believe you can't live without that person. But the truth, you can. And you deserve a love that heals, not hurts. Walking away might feel impossible. It may even feel like losing a part of yourself. But with time, support, and self-awareness, you'll realize that what you're losing isn't love. It's control disguised as affection. If you're in this cycle, start by talking to someone you trust. Therapists, support groups, even a close friend. They can help you see the truth when emotions blur your vision. You have more strength than you think. And once you break free, you'll wonder why you stayed so long. Remember, love should never feel like a prison. It should feel like freedom. So take back your power, set your boundaries, and choose yourself every single time. If this video helped you understand the psychology behind toxic love, hit the like button, share it with someone who might need to hear this, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world of human behavior and emotional manipulation. Your mind is your greatest weapon, and I'll be here every week to help you protect it.